Okay, we're a little further on. Biggest problem is making sure you get all of these tight, and I didn't realize, but one of these is upside down. However, it's all together now and it's all good and tight. Got the spring hooked on down here that goes down to the oil filter housing, and that actually shuts the throttle. So yeah, when you hang on a second, I don't know if I can do it. Yeah, you can open them up. That is actually quite strong. So I'm hoping that when we get the mechanism linked back up, because it's mechanical, there will be lots of leverage points, or if you're in America, leverage points, and it will be not too difficult to push the throttle down. Other than that, we'll have to get the correct spring. The spring that is on there, which, let me see if I can show it to you. Ooh. And the lights went out. Boom, boom. See that spring there? It's not the correct spring. It looks like it broke and they just twisted it in the oil filter housing down there, but never mind, it works. Just not quite right. Okay, now let me see, what else have we got to think about here? Okay, so the throttles are actually in here. They are fully closed on both of them, and then obviously this stop here will hit there to stop you going past fully open. Next for me is to get this bar on, and the linked, and make sure I get that all working. Not quite sure, in all honesty, what that one is meant to do. Oh, that probably, oh, that assists the other way. Okay, all right, so I'll set that up so you've got springs assisting in both directions. I must admit that is different to what I have on my Mark II. On my Mark II, I just have a throttle return spring going down to the oil filter housing. I don't have that extra one. This seems to, so we will put it in. I know it was there because there's the spring there, although it doesn't look particularly powerful, but I'm sure it will do the job. So let me see. Yes, next we are definitely going to get that piece there and put it on. So once I've done that, I'll show you it in position. What I think I might do is I'm going to do this without the filter housing, that big aluminium thing, because I don't want that in the way. Oh, also I do have to set this. So you have to get that just so that it engages, and then as soon as the throttle opens, it breaks the connection. So I need to get that done. Lots of lovely things to do. Lots of lovely wires to try and sort out, and start checking voltages. Take this coil off. I'm really not quite sure what vehicle that came from. The wires are in pretty poor shape, I must admit. I'm hoping they still function. I may need to replace these connectors on the end because they don't seem particularly good. Yeah, and I got a feeling they're the wrong way around, those wires, but I'll check that first. All right, onward and upward. Okay, one thing I need to do is to make sure we are getting a supply to the coil. Now, whilst I am replacing this coil, I still want to check that I'm actually getting a supply through on the plus side. And the reason it's the plus side is that this vehicle has been converted to negative earth, which is probably the best way to go with most of these older babies. It's not too difficult to do. It does require you to change coil connections, to flash the generator, reverse certain gauges, but I'm not going to go into that right now. So let me turn the ignition on and let's see if that thing lights up. Eureka! We have power to the coil. That's a good start. Power in, and then obviously when the coil is working, it'll shove it out through the black and white wire down to the distributor, and it will say, "Spark, baby, spark." All right, let's turn the ignition off. We don't wish to cause any more problems. All right, that is good news. We do have progression. I know this is a very long and slow process, guys, but yeah, you've got to be methodical about it. And sorry, you've probably got a view up my nose there. Not the most pleasant of things these days. So, all right, let's move on to the next thing and finish off bolting up these carburetors. I should have done that first, but I just couldn't wait to see if I had power. Right, next I want to check that this switch is working. So I've connected to the terminal on the top and to the body. And as you can see, we have 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. And when I turn this throttle, bingo, we get connection, disconnection. That's connection there, obviously, because it's 0. And then we get here, disconnection. And okay, those may not be the correct terms, but you understand. So that tells me that that switch is working. I've got it set up reasonably well. If I find that's not good enough, then I'll modify that a bit later. Now, okay, before I even put these chambers on the top, I am going to turn the fuel pump on. I think on the fuel side I've got everything connected, and with the pistons and the chambers out of the way, it's great because I got to see a little more and if there's going to be a leak, because fuel leaking is no good. So I got to fix it. So let's go turn on the fuel pump once I remove this equipment and see what happens. All right, you are going to see this before I do, because I'm now about to turn on the ignition. The fuel pump is connected, the battery is connected, and if it leaks, you're going to see it before I do. So then I could end up rushing back to turn the ignition off and figure out why it's leaking. And also, well, actually, let's go for it. Pump's going. Oh dear, it's pouring. Oh, look at that. That shouldn't be happening, should it, children? So that is pumping straight through. That means that the float is not doing what it should. The cutoff is not doing its cutoff. It's just letting it pour straight through. All right. I'm going to let these fumes die down before I even attempt to touch that. Nice to know that the first carburetor is okay, but that second one, no, that am not good, man. Hey, this is why you do these things. So it looks as if I've got a sticking float. So I'll let this dry off, and actually I'll tell you what, I'm not going to touch this again until tomorrow and see what I find. Alright, while I'm waiting for those fumes to disperse, I want to get on and do something. So let's get this coil out. Disconnect the wires. Do note where they go. I mean, it's pretty darn obvious, but you never know. You're going to need a 7/16 wrench. Loosen off the upper nut and your lower nut too. This one seems to have a... oh, the shroud is loose. Now, am I surprised? Not really. Who said that out loud? Alright, so let's get this nut off underneath. Of course, it's always awkward to get to, but then again, why wouldn't it be? Cool. Dead him tough, man. Okay. Ba-ding, ba-ding. Ba-ding, 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 ba-ding. It's because I'm hitting the fan. One of my fans. Probably the only fan I've got. Oh, don't you just love it? It's one of those ones. You know, you get a wrench on it and it starts to loosen. But as soon as you take the wrench off of it, it's fucking rock hard and you can't get the bitch off. Yeah, and as expected, the stud came out. That often happens. So don't be surprised when that happens. And what I found strange is I felt something else come off. There shouldn't have been anything else on there. Oh, it's just the... Okay, yes, it's the bracket to the bottom. And we all like a bracket to the bottom. Put all these to one side. Yeah, that's what it was. And that, oh, I'm going to clean that up. I can't put that back on. Oh dear, I'm going to clean that up too. Look at the state of this thing. I'm going to give that a clean. I'm going to give that a quick blasting and brake cleaner. And then I'll... No, I'm not restoring it. I've got to stop myself. I keep trying to restore things and that's not what this customer has asked for. Just wants me to get it running. So, stop being such a dick. And just get on and give the customer what he wants. So hard for me, I know, because I do like to restore shit. All right, let me get these cleaned up, get that cleaned up, and we'll get the new coil on. You saw me take it off. You're not going to see me put it on because I'm going to stop this video here and put it out there. And what is today? It's Thursday, and we're just going to make sure we give you something to watch so that you're happy. And here we go again. Like, comment, subscribe, ding the dong. Tell your friends, tell your mum, tell your bum chums, whatever. Just subscribe, guys. I'm up to 500 and something, and I appreciate every one of you. I'd really love to hit 1,000 because I think that's the magic number. But I'm aiming for it by the end of the year. That's a big ask, isn't it? I haven't got a big ask. My wife says I've got a flat ask. She's got a nice ask. But we won't go into that, will we? Not unless I want to get divorced. And I don't. That's too expensive. I've done it twice already, and the bitches clean me out. Yeah, parasitic bitches. We won't go into that. All right. Like, comment, subscribe, ding the dong, and get out in that garage now and do some shit. Yeah!